Welcome to the Lightworker Podcast. I am your host, Natalie Grant. I am a lightworker, a meditation facilitator, Reiki master, and a health and wellness enthusiast who thrives on helping people. Connection is my superpower, and I just love bringing people to a space where transformation can occur. Are you looking for information on being a lightworker? Are you a lightworker and just love collecting knowledge from other lightworkers? Then this is exactly where you need to be right now. Spirit has brought you here for a reason, and my hope is that this podcast will offer some new information and insights that will help you on your journey. I am here to help you connect and grow on your true path as a lightworker. So, boundaries.
Yes, boundaries. Yes.
Now, this is a good topic, right? Boundaries.
Very good topic.
And honestly, it's one of the things that human beings, once they've worked this out, their life starts to change. So, yes. When you started putting in boundaries, how did your life start to change?
Mm-hmm. Oh, it certainly ruffled feathers.
Yeah.
It wasn't taken very well by some people. It was difficult for some people because I feel like, well, they were the ones that were kind of overstepping. They were the ones that were, I guess, stepping over those boundaries and really making it quite difficult at times. And so whether it's professionally, that was a big one for me. I actually I ended up opening my own business because of that sense. I was very much sick and tired of being disrespected and not seen or heard. I was working in a very toxic workplace, and I thought, enough is enough. Like, there's only so much a soul can take. And when it's really affecting you, your whole mind, your body and your soul, and you're so almost sick to your core because you don't want to go to work. And my son was feeling the same way about school. I realized boundaries, I didn't have healthy boundaries and I wasn't speaking up. So it was time, it was really time.
So in the Reiki practice, we know that the universe sends us these situations to teach us things. So yes. It's giving you a very toxic environment. How toxic are you going to put up with, Carine, before you actually say something here? What does this person actually have to do before you actually honor your own soul here and actually say what needs to be said or do what needs to be done? It's a different way to look at things, but I know that that's within the Reiki practice. Is definitely part of the teachings, is to see that every situation and every person is a teacher, and it's there to activate us in some way to create some sort of a cause and effect, right? So,
absolutely.
So you realize I got to do something here, and so it obviously, because if you've always been someone who's a people pleaser, they would have been shocked. Like, it would have just come completely out of left field. They wouldn't have even known what to do. So what was that experience like when you did insert a boundary?
Well, it did take a lot of people time to kind of look at me and go, well, wow. Like, some people didn't take it too lightly. I did it, in a nice way, but a lot of people still tried to push and push and push. And there's only so much pushing that you can take. So it either comes to a head and you say, well, is this person really for my best and highest good? Are they here to test me? Are they here to be a part of my life, or are they not going to be a part of my life? Because there's only so much you can put up with, and you can have those conversations, those difficult conversations with people and say, well, this is really bothering me. I don't like this. Please don't do it. XYZ, whatever it might be. And if they're not going to listen and they're not going to put those things into action and they're not going to honor your feelings, then it's time to move on. it's time to cut ties, you know?
So how did it feel when you did that?
Oh, it feels great.
Yeah.
It feels great. It depends on who it is, of course. Professionally, fantastic. I was like, see you later. Good riddance. Adios, amigos. No, but when it comes to family and close friends and people in your life, I think it just takes a bit of time with some
that can be
people.
A bit more challenging because when they're in the family, even extended, you know, there are times where you're not going to be able to avoid it. You're going to have to see them. So
that's right, 100%. But it can also make you really reflect. It can really make you think about things from a totally different perspective, because when I've had certain interactions with people, and I've kind of looked at it in a sense of like why it's bothering them, or why they have those boundary issues, or why they keep doing what they're doing. It comes from a place of control. It can come from a place of maybe they don't know any better. They don't have that wisdom. They weren't taught those, you know, tools as a young child, adolescent. Maybe they've had something happen to them. So when you have those conversations and you dig a little deeper and you go, you know, have that compassion as well, then sometimes you can come to resolution. You can kind of softly work on those types of relationships. But then with others, some certain friendships, it's just not, it's time. It's time to move on.
Yeah.
You know, those people have served their purpose in your life. And it's hard because it's sad. You have a sense of grief, sense of loss. But when you get to the other side of it and you realize that you've actually made a really good decision, you know, you just feel that much lighter, and you become better at setting those boundaries, and you feel more confident knowing that you're making those right decisions and that it's okay, and that you should still honor those feelings because they're worth honoring.
Well, you're the one that has to live in that body.
Exactly.
You keep ignoring those feelings.
Yes.
It comes to the point where it's the decision between, you know, your own happiness or not.
Exactly. That's right.
And
exactly,
no one has to put up with bad behavior. Nobody has to put up with things that are at a lower standard than what you would set for yourself.
Exactly.
And, you know, I know for me, I kind of walk through the world and I aim, it doesn't mean I always get there, but I aim to treat people the way I like to be treated. I aim to, you know, respect people's boundaries the way I like my boundaries respected. Sometimes it falls short, you know, and other times you nail it. But you know that you don't wake up in the morning thinking, I'm really going to mess with someone's day today. And I don't really think inherently anybody does that. I don't think they wake up thinking they're going to really mess with someone's day. I just think that a lot of the time there are people that are not present with what's true inside themselves.
Yep.
Which they're then letting the program run their life, and they're not actually pausing to question whether it's what they actually want or like or need, or, you know, and sometimes people are unable to actually just ride for 2 seconds in the shoes of the other person. Like that's a skill that you don't realize takes time, energy, and effort to practice being able to do, because a lot of the time people are stuck in the stories that are in their head and they believe their own lies. You know, they don't question what's coming up in the mind, and there's a lot of assuming that they think they know what people are thinking and feeling, and they're operating in a very fictitious place. It's not real. And there's a lot of actually having a chat about what's real in the moment. So tell me, like, what's your practice? What's something that you do that helps you stay present? What do you do that's going to help you to monitor and get connected to that soul part of you that knows what your truth is, where your boundaries lie? What do you do?
Well, I always go back to my Reiki training, but I like to meditate. I like to put one hand on my heart, one hand on my stomach or solar plexus, and I like to check in with myself. I like to ground my energy, because sometimes I'm human. Even though I'm Reiki trained, I'm up in my head sometimes. We're all busy and distracted. I've got kids. I'm running a business, so I like to just take a minute away from everything, put my feet on the grass, put my feet in the ocean, but just come back into my body and really just kind of feel everything, see where I'm at. And I try to take notice of my thoughts throughout the day, because I'm in contact with a lot of different energies and different people each day. It's quite easy to kind of get, again, distracted. So yeah, it's really important to ground my energy and really just kind of hone in and really listen to my body, listen to myself, because over the younger years, I didn't listen to those little warning signs, or I didn't drink enough water. I didn't do lots of things. And so it manifests and turns into other things.
Yeah.
So now I'm much more present. I'm much more in tune with my intuition, with all of those sorts of parts of myself. But it's really, really easy to get caught up with what's going on in your day. So yeah, just having that practice of, even if it's only a couple of minutes, it can be 3 minutes. You just close your eyes, take some deep breaths. It's all in the breath. When we're stressed, when we're anxious, and as someone who suffered from anxiety a lot of my younger years and didn't even know what it was, my breath was terrible. So I shallow breath and my shoulders would raise. So now just softening the shoulders, reminding myself I'm safe, everything's okay. Coming back, rubbing my shoulders and going, it's okay, take a deep breath. The kids are being annoying, that's okay, take a deep breath, and really just having that pause before I speak. Sometimes we are a bit too quick, a bit too reactive. It's part of life, it's part of the learning process, but people will trigger you. People will get a rise out of us at times. And so I do my little grounding exercise, and then I come back in a much more calmer, more centered space.
Yeah.
So I think that's a really good, easy way for people to just get back into the body.
Yeah. Because it is exactly what happens. You have something happen in your experience which causes a response which is perhaps put in the fear basket, something you don't really like. You come straight out of your body and you go into thought. And then sometimes those thoughts aren't yours.
No.
Sometimes they're the thoughts of whoever you're with. Sometimes
Yep.
it's just the fear response in the body, and it could be, your ancestors' thoughts or the ways you did things when you were 5.
Exactly.
And just giving yourself that moment to pause and take a breath and be here and not actually make any decisions about what you need to do next.
No.
Just pause and be there and watch all of it. Because it's interesting to give yourself a chance to come back into the body.
Yes.
So that you're not operating from somewhere else. You're actually back here.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Sometimes it can be a lot. So when you were noticing that you were going to have to do some deep talking to some of these schools with your and like, if you've suffered from anxiety before, it's likely that anxiety would have been high in those moments.
Absolutely. Oh,
and you
absolutely.
knew you needed to say something. You knew you needed to take action. You knew you had to do something. What did you do to manage? Because this might be helpful for other people. Like, what was a practice that you did to prepare yourself for those hard conversations?
Look, it's not easy. It's really, really hard. And I think it's important to be kind to yourself and just do the best that you can. Write it down. For me, I always used to choke up I used to get really passionate, but then I'd cry. I'd get so emotional, and I would just, so I thought, oh my God, I'm going to burst into tears. I'm going to look like an idiot. If you have someone supportive, I have a husband, so of course he came along when he could, or maybe another family member, a friend, somebody who can help support you, someone who you can talk to. I found writing down some of the things that I needed to say quite helpful for me, because obviously when you're in the heat of the moment, and you are stressed and anxious, you're going to forget. You're going to forget those really important things that you want to get out and say. So for me, writing those little bullet points, or you can write paragraphs, whatever you want to do. Even if you can't speak to that person, writing an email. Yeah. I found that quite therapeutic. But you have to be very careful with how you word those emails, and make sure that you don't just hastily type in some things and then send. Reread it, read it a couple of times, get someone to check it, and then maybe send it.
Yeah.
Take the emotion out of it, just so that you're not kind of going about it the wrong way and making it worse for your child or yourself. But when I had those meetings, I did feel that emotion coming up, and there were times when I cried, and you know what? That's okay.
Yeah.
We're only human. I wanted them to see that side of me. I wanted them to see that I was upset. It's important. They need to know how it's affecting you, how it's affecting your family, your child. It's really important. So it's good to honor those feelings. And for anyone that's going through something similar, you're not alone. You are not alone. There are so many incredible kids out there and families who are just going through such hell. And yeah, it's unfair, but all of this happens in order for us to grow. And for me, we homeschool our son now. It's been amazing. And yeah,
it's going now with this as his experience in comparison, because it's been happening for a while now. So you've got you've got a bit of data there that you might be able to share about the change in him, and the change in your family, like since you made the decision that suited you, because everyone's got different situations and it suits people different ways. There's no one right way to do anything.
Yes.
But for him, with his now schooling is at home, how's he going?
He's a totally different child. He is a totally different child. Teenager, I'll say. He's a teenager. He's nearly 14. Yeah. So he's just thriving. He's amazing. It wasn't an easy decision to make. I mean, it was kind of, we kind of didn't have a choice, but it was the right thing to do. And I was lucky enough, and my husband was lucky enough, that we worked for ourselves. And that's why all these things happened, all the shifts, all the changes in location, all that sort of stuff led us to being able to homeschool him. So he doesn't take medication.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny when you reflect and you look back. But at the time I thought, oh my God, how are we going to do this? This is so stressful. I'm not a teacher. I can't do this.
Yeah.
It's okay. You're not expected to be a teacher. It's not perfect all the time. And they're going to have days where they just aren't having a good day. But we all do. And that's okay. We've got to take a seat back and kind of look at it and relax a little bit. Homeschooling can be whatever you want it to be. Homeschooling can be very relaxed. You can do the unschooling side of things, and you can do your own curriculum, your own way of teaching, dependent on that child and what their capabilities are, whether they have, dyslexia or something like that. But yeah, he's really tall now. His growth was quite stunted because he wasn't eating. He was so stressed. He was making himself sick. And his anxiety's gone. He doesn't take medication. He's not presenting any symptoms of like ADHD or really autism. I wouldn't even say that he, there's certain traits there, but like, it's fun, it's quirky. His personality's back. He's a happy teenager. He's just in a much better headspace. And so it's so nice for us as a family to see that. And it changes. It just changes everything.
Yeah, wow. What was that transition like? Because I know, because we've all been grown up in the school system, so getting your head around shifting from that system to homeschooling kind of, and how what that looks like can be it actually can be very overwhelming for people. So what did you do to help, you and your family transition to that? Because initially it would have been, oh my God, I've got to do this, I'm not a teacher, all the negative Nancy stuff would have been totally there. And same with your hubby would have been going through the same thing. And then probably even your son would have been going, oh, I don't want to spend all that time with mum and dad.
Yeah, 100%. He was like, oh my God, this is torture.
Yeah. So,
I want to be with my friends. But yeah.
So what did you do to navigate this?
It takes time. Look, it definitely was a time thing for us. Initially it was hard because we we didn't have a clue what we were doing. Yep. We were like, oh my God, this is really stressful. And I didn't know a lot of people around to sort of help support. I didn't know a lot of people that homeschooled. I did kind of feel very isolated and a bit of an outcast, because a lot of people kind of used to stick their nose up at the whole homeschooling situation, and they don't always have a high opinion of that sort of thing. And I think at first I was worried about what other people thought, but then I realized that it was for him and for us. It was to help him. So, but we did some research. We watched a lot of different things online. We reached out. We joined a few Facebook groups for homeschooling. There's a lot of Facebook groups for unschooling, homeschooling. You can talk to a lot of people on there. You can get a lot of support, and you can find other like-minded people who do the same thing. And you can make friends with people and talk to them about all of their experiences and the shoulds and shouldn'ts, and you're gonna make mistakes. There's no doubt about it. It's part of the journey, and that's okay. And like I said, we have good days and bad days, and that's okay too.
Yeah.
So yeah.
So, and then how long do you think it took you to settle into it being comfortable?
It takes a month or two. It takes a couple of months, I think, because you're so conditioned. You're so in the system. Yeah. It's a very different. I mean, I was, in the school system, but having a totally different perspective now and seeing, I've got one child that goes to primary school right now. And then I've obviously got my son who's a teenager who's homeschooled, and I see so many things that I don't like now about the system. It's made me have a very different opinion of school.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's been a real eye-opener, because you can teach your kids life skills. There are things that you can teach your kid. You can teach them cooking. You can there is no limit. You can teach them anything you like, on top of all the stuff, the maths, the science, the English, the whatevers. But oh my God, the life skills, they're invaluable. They're things that they don't teach you in a school system. Of course, school's great socially, and if you've got a social kid anyway, you'll be fine. I think that's important. Just trying to find some things for your kids to do outside of the homeschooling, so that they do have those social interactions, so that they're not totally isolated and secluded and depressed because they have no friends. Yes. That can take some time. That certainly took some time for us to navigate, because we didn't really know that many people. So, but yeah, have no fear. Like, it is an incredible journey that for us has been very positive. And I really hope that for anyone that is listening that's thinking about it, I really hope that more people start to do it and start to homeschool, because if you have the opportunity to spend that time with your kids, you just can't get that time back.
No.
You really can't. It's so special. It really is.
Yeah.
It really is special. So I'm super grateful, even though we've been through some hard difficult times, I'm grateful because it's brought us to where we are now.
Yeah.
Which is, you know, a really happy, much more grounded place.
That's so good.
Yeah.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about what you do, what when you transition from working for other people to working for yourself, what kind of role did you appoint yourself to? What do you do?
Well, I'm a beauty therapist by trade.
Yeah.
So I did that for many, many years, along with lots of other jobs and things in between. But ultimately, I just wanted to work with people and help people. But then obviously I discovered Reiki and energy healing myself. And because of already having that beauty training and the beauty business, I decided to incorporate all of my Reiki training into a more holistic side. So I decided to slowly transition and make my beauty treatments way more holistic. And I used a lot of the tools and the skill sets that I'd learnt through that to also protect my energy, because little did I know I was picking up a lot of energy from other people. But there were so many conversations had with clients and so many people that really needed Reiki. They really needed energy work. They needed healing. They needed those conversations. And yeah, so I do Reiki, past life retrieval, emotional liberation, sound healing. I do a lot of meditation and group sound healing as well. So yeah, it's been a wonderful experience for me to slowly drift. I'm drifting away from the beauty side of things slowly, but and moving more into the holistic side of things.
Yeah. Beautiful. And are we in
Holistic
your room
counselling.
at the moment? Is this what I'm looking at?
Yes, my studio. I've got a home studio, so I'm very blessed and lucky that I've got the space at home that I can come down and you know, work from home, and I can do all of the beauty side of things and the energy healing as well. And I'm studying this year to be a homeopath. So
Amazing.
so I've got a lot of different things happening.
That's awesome. So homeopathy.
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
Yes.
this is the
Frequency medicine.
yeah.
Yeah.
That'll be a
Which is
beautiful
exciting.
combo.
Absolutely. Yeah. It's really making a comeback.
So
So
has that helped with your son using homeopathy? Is that why? Because this is the thing. Why do we
yes.
learn what we learn?
Yes.
What was?
Yes.
Yeah, it did. Yeah, okay.
It did. Yeah. So yeah, he's been
Subtle frequency.
being oh, absolutely. He's been detoxing a lot of things. He's seeing a homeopath and has been for about 6 months. He's been detoxing lots of different things from his body and will be for probably another 12 months. But as soon as he used to suffer from really bad allergies, like nose issues, and we thought it was a tick, which to some degree some things were. But when we started the detox, my God, it flared it up so badly, which is very common with homeopathy. It's the return of old symptoms. So for quite a while, I think he was hating me because, you know, he couldn't breathe. It was just horrendous. And I thought, oh my God, when is this going to end? But now he can breathe. He said to me the other day, he goes, it's definitely helped, Mum. Like, it's really made a difference, and I can breathe, and I'm not having any more nose issues, which is just life changing for me. Life changing.
Yeah. And for him.
So, absolutely. He's so
Yeah.
much calmer, like his nervous system's calmer.
Yeah.
There's less inflammation in his brain, because one of the key things that we were, you know, trying to get to the bottom of was this inflammation in his brain, which, you know, it could be environmental, it could be, you know, some sort of toxins, all sorts of things.
Yeah.
But then there's a genetic side of things too, where they look at this gene called the MTHFR gene, and it really resonated with me, because when I did some research and when I learnt about that, it has a lot to do with your detox pathways. And so if you come in contact with toxins, you know, it could be a vaccination, it could be anything really, food. Your body has a hard time processing that, and really kind of your kidneys, your liver, everything just can't eliminate it properly. So you end up with all these issues, and these diagnoses of autism and ADHD and sensory processing and all of that could actually be linked to that. So you can actually get a blood test and find out.
Okay. So how did you do that? Was that just through the GP, or how did you?
Yeah. You could probably talk to the GP. I'm pretty sure if you ask them about it, there's definitely some knowledge around that. Or you could see a naturopath or a homeopath, and they have access to all of those types of tests. So they can do hair strand tests, they can do gut flora tests. There's so many holistic practitioners out there now that have access to all of those tools. So you can definitely speak with someone and they can put you on that pathway and get it checked. It's definitely worth it.
Can it?
Exactly. And then you have the knowledge. Exactly. So there's once you have that knowledge and you have that answer, it's just, then you have the knowledge and you can then do what you will. But it makes life so much easier. And there's so many doctors and people that don't give you that information. Yeah. So sometimes you do have to see a holistic practitioner who has that knowledge, who can put you on that pathway. And then when you find out, it's like a light bulb moment. Yeah. It just changes your life.
When you were getting gathering all of this information, because one of the things I watch people struggle is they're constantly questioning. They don't know how do I know I'm making the right decision? How do I know that this is what I'm supposed to be doing? This person's a doctor and they're supposed to know what's right for me. But what I've heard from this talking to you is that you went to all of the things. You listened to all of the things. You tried all of the things.
I did. Oh, I did.
And none of that was working.
No, but inside us, we, of course, we like to put our trust in a lot of the medical field, and I haven't had very good experiences for me personally, and I'm sure there's lots of listeners that will say the same thing. Trust your gut, trust your intuition, trust that feeling inside yourself, because you know your kid better than anybody, any practitioner, anyone, even, some other family members. You have to listen. If something doesn't sit right with you, then you investigate. You don't take no for an answer. You need to fight. You need to stand up and say, that doesn't sit right with me. Let me do another test. No, I'm going to get a second opinion. And yes, it's going to annoy some people and they might not like it, but we're the patient, we're the parent, and we're paying all the money. So, there were times when it didn't sit right with me. We went to pediatricians, we did it all. We tried medication. I just knew deep down it wasn't right for him. But yeah, I had to listen. I had to listen to that nudge, even though the schools didn't like it, even though other people didn't like it. I didn't care. I had to think about him and what he's, ultimately, what am I doing for him? Because it affects their insides. It affects everything. So, and we want them to grow up being strong and resilient. And so, yeah, you've just got to listen to your inner voice. And if it's not sitting, if your body says no or something says no, then trust it.
Yeah.
Investigate.
They're a dime a dozen.
Yep.
Doctors and professionals, different trained professionals. Maybe it's just the wrong particular doctor that you're talking to. You need to find a different one. So you're saying for you, it's like a gut feeling. It's like you just know this information isn't landing for me. So I'm just going to go and seek a second opinion or get some other ideas and see what actually starts to land and feel right. Because you're wanting to track proof and evidence. You're wanting to see results. Like we are all result driven.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I guess the only thing other than that is that sometimes when you do things holistically too, is that we do have to keep in mind that if something's been there for a long time, that we need to also have a little bit of patience, as long as you're, under the guidance of like, somebody who, is a professional. whether it's holistic or not, that sometimes things do take time. You know, if it's a chronic condition, you have to be patient.
Definitely, like you were saying with the detoxing, how he went on the homeopathics and then he had a flare up. Like that happens in a Reiki session. You come have a Reiki session, the next day you're bedridden. And it's because your body has gone, oh, now I can let go of all these toxins and I can purge. But then people get into their mental head about it and go, oh, the homeopathy is bad because, you see, I had that and now I'm sick. Or the Reiki is bad because, see, I did that and now it didn't work the way I thought it was going to work. Because in order to allow our bodies to realign and reprogram and reset, we have to get rid of some of this old stuff that we've been carrying around.
We do.
And that can look like headaches for a couple of days or having a flu for a week, or it can look like, you know, snotty noses and itchy eyes and skin rashes. I mean, the amount of people I've had that happen with where they've had skin rashes after a Reiki session, and then once they're out the other side, then no more, you know, and then supports with, this is why I really love a holistic approach, because when you pair some of the natural remedies with some of the doctory stuff, with some of the energy healing stuff, you can actually get a far more profound result in time than you can if you only focus on one aspect.
Well, that's it. And the holistic practitioners, they're getting to the root cause. This is where I'm at. A lot of the allopathic sort of practitioners are more about quick fix. Here's a tablet. Here's a
symptom.
Mask the symptom. Let's suppress everything. And that's why we have such a sick world. We have so many chronically ill people in the world because we've been taught to suppress everything. Yeah. And now people are learning. They're starting to learn not to suppress. That there's other things. Once you have those tools, once you learn a little bit more, and Reiki was that for me. You know, acupuncture, another amazing, incredible thing for a lot of people. It's all about your chi, all about your life force, all about that flow of energy through your body. Once you come back into that state of homeostasis and you're operating in a much more, you know, in more flow, then you're not sick.
Yeah.
You're not suppressing everything. You're not shoving it all down. We're not, you know, using alcohol or drugs or, you know, social media and other things to kind of push all those emotions down, which is what we're taught.
Yeah.
So it's, you know, homeopathy and Reiki and acupuncture and all these other amazing modalities are pulling that out. They're really making us feel. They're really making us deal with the core issues that we have in order to help us live a more healthier, happier life.
Yeah.
So it's amazing.
It is.
And I'm here for it.
I'm here for it too. Carine, I want to thank you so much for coming on to our podcast and sharing your story. It's a powerful story, and I hope that this reaches who needs to hear this. And I want to thank you for being so honest and sharing what you have with everyone, because I know it's been a very challenging journey for you. And really lovely to sit and reflect now and see how far you've come, and to see that the next phase is homeopathy. How exciting.
Yes. Yeah, no,
stand by, stand tuned. Stay in tune.
Yes, absolutely. So, I can't wait.
I will make sure that all your links are in the show notes, so that if anyone wants to get in touch with you on Bribie Island for in-person sessions, that they can. And and yeah, I want to thank you for your time, energy.
Thank you. I love talking to you.
Yeah, I love it. Remember to like and subscribe if you enjoyed this podcast, to be ready for the next episode. The content found within these podcasts are not intended to diagnose, treat, cure, or prevent disease. Nothing on this website is intended to diagnose, treat, or cure any physical or medical conditions. If you have any physical or medical conditions, you should seek the advice of your medical professional immediately.